All right, everybody, this is Marcel Pertut, and welcome to another edition of the Original Free Kick, where we discuss all things professional soccer. We only have one part of the show today. We're going to recap Atlanta United's road win over DC United and everything that went with that. But before we get to that, as always, we want to follow everything that we do. Head to the mothership to sportsinquirer.net, premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can go to our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the Sports Inquirer. You do a check on there and follow us and like us, and you'll get all of the updates as we post them. And then finally, subscribe to our audio and video content providers on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and others under the Sports Inquirer. Do a search on there, and you'll be able to keep track of all the things that we have going on. Yeah, so Atlanta United, the local MLS team based here in Atlanta, is on a hot streak coming into the All-Star break. The team won its fourth consecutive match and extended its unbeaten streak to 5 matches with a 2-1 victory at DC United this past Saturday. Marcelino Moreno scored the game winner in the 82nd minute, while Joseph Martinez was able to score his fourth goal in 5 matches. And Atlanta's second longest win streak continues as with that victory over DC United. Before we get to the specifics of the contest, here is interim manager for Atlanta United, Rob Valentino, on the victory.
I'm not looking at it that way from a personal standpoint. I'm looking at the performance and the application of the game plan and what the game was. Because for me, the game played out how we probably thought it was going to play out, and I thought they handled themselves really. They were really mature in the performance. It wasn't. We knew this wasn't going to be easy, and I mean, both teams have been through it. They've been through it on the road. We've fortunately had 2 home games, but look, this has been a tough week for them, and I thought they showed a lot of maturity in moments where we had a lot of pressure, but I thought also in the transitions we handled both sides relatively well, and still able to create chances and be dangerous and stick to our identity, stick to what they are and what's got them in this position. So I'm really proud of them. That was me. That was one of the best feelings I've had on the touchline.
And from the onset, Atlanta was very aggressive offensively. And we'll get to specifics of what Rob was saying about the grittiness and trying to just find a way to get a victory through the contest. But Atlanta looked like they were going to take an early 1-0 lead when Joseph Martinez was able to play a ball out to Brooks Lennon. And Lennon was able to find Luis Araujo, the new acquisition for Atlanta United, new designated player. He was able to create some space outside the penalty area on the right side and put a strong shot on goal, and it required a diving save from DC United keeper John Kempen. Atlanta was able to get their first goal of the contest in that 25th minute from Joseph Martinez. Marcelino Moreno, who had a really strong night overall, was able to score the goal, but was very active throughout the evening, especially on the offensive end. He was able to dribble the ball past former Atlanta United player Julian Gressel, a little bit of a nutmeg, dribble the ball about 30 yards to the center of the pitch. He was able to find a streaking Joseph Martinez down the middle of the penalty area. He was able to find Martinez. Joseph took one shot to his right, was able to shield off Tony Alfaro, the defender for DC United. He did a nice spin move and kind of chipped the ball past the DC goalkeeper Keppen while falling down on the ground, and the ball deflected a little bit off of Alfaro as well. But in the end, Martinez was able to net that goal and make the score 1-0. And as I mentioned, that was his fourth goal in the last 5 matches, or four goals that he scored in the past 5 matches. So he's been on a really strong streak overall for Atlanta United. Now, DC United was able to level the match in the 54th minute when the second half substitute, Jordi Reyna, was able to curl a free kick past Brad Guzan, the Atlanta goalkeeper, to make the score 1-1. Looked like they did a quick play on that situation because Reyna was standing over the ball and Julian Gressel was running towards him. So it looked like they were going to decide who was going to take the free kick. But credit to Reyna, he took advantage of a little bit of confusion from the Atlanta defense. He was able to curl the ball, a really nice free kick, right, past Guzan to make the score 1-1. But the contest at this point, and really throughout the contest, was very open. And we'll get to the offensive statistics a little bit later. But there was a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth in the contest, a little bit more than we've seen under Rob Valentino for Atlanta United. So here is Rob on the openness of the match.
That this game would be a little bit different than the last two games we've had in terms of the way they like to attack, the way they like to play. So I knew it was going to be open in transition, but I was didn't want to change the message that we've had about being an attack minded, being about going forward, but knowing, let's be realistic, like they're going to come at us. I've got a lot of respect for the coach and what he's done there. He's done an unbelievable job. They play really good style. I like to watch the games that they played, and so we knew that it was going to be open. And we talked a lot about the wingbacks and the eights, if you want to call them that, Marcelino or Luis, how they could manage moments defensively in the transition, and even Barco. And if Barco couldn't be there, it was Joseph, so if he could come and help back. And at times, yeah, like it was difficult for them. And then the back five, of course, they were going to have to manage things, and obviously Brad at the end. But they look, I'm not silly to think that they had chances and they could have gone either way, but the moments that I thought that would cause us problems, they did, and I thought for the most part it was just a difficult game. Like you come on the back of playing, that's your third game in 7 days, and it's not easy for these guys, and a lot of rotation, and we've asked a lot of them. So that's why I would say that from in terms of the game plan and how they applied themselves for the most part, it went well.
Yeah, and that's just the way it worked out. And Atlanta was able to take advantage of it with that open play in the 82nd minute for the game winning goal for Moreno. Really started off with George Campbell, who came in as a substitute for Franco and was very instrumental in setting up the play and also holding down the defense at the very end. The young defenders continues to evolve and improve. And on our next show, we'll break that down a little bit further. But for the sake of this contest, he over that for that game winner, he was able to win a free ball, win a ball at the 50-50 ball at midfield, played the ball to fellow homegrown player George Bello. Bello was able to move down the left wing and sent a cross in the middle of the penalty area for Martinez. And Martinez did a very good job of winning the ball in the penalty area off of the cross. He laid the ball off to Ezekiel Barco. Barco made a pass to Moreno, who had took a few steps coming into the shot to his right and was able to push a right-footed shot to the far post past Keppen. One just a really well executed play late in the contest. Yes, it really started. You got all these players involved, starting with Campbell winning that 50-50 ball, getting it to Bello. Bello did a very nice job to get across into the penalty area from Joseph Martinez, who won the ball between two DC United defenders, which was a very strong effort by him. Got it to Barco, and Barco was able to find open space for Moreno to go into and make the shot attempt, which went in. And Marcelino Moreno has been a revelation for Atlanta United in this winning streak under Rob Valentino. He's a player that when he first came in playing on the Hindsight looked, I'll say, out of form, but very passive in his play. But now with him and credit to Barco, he's back from the Olympics. He's been playing really well. Joseph Martinez is up front. So those three guys playing forward has really unleashed Moreno. All three of those guys have been unleashed, but especially Moreno. And here is Rob Valentino on Moreno and what we've seen from him over the past few matches.
There's nothing I can do on the field. Like it's them, the players that open up these things. I think that we asked them to get in certain positions today. For this game, for example, I asked them to play deeper. I said, I need you to play deeper. We're going to be under some pressure on our build. I'm going to need you to come deeper and get on the ball and help us take it from the whatever you want to call it, our defensive third to our attacking third. And that was going to be really important. I know he likes to play higher up the pitch. I know he likes those things, but the sacrifice for the team was him playing a little bit deeper because I think he's versatile. So for today, that's what he did. But it's not what I've done for him. It's something inside him that when he's got in good areas, we talk about space to attack. he gets there and he's driving. Like again, he's got the freedom to drive, and at times then he has to make decisions. And we talk about what decisions he can make, what options he might have. When it goes for all those guys, all the attackers and all the players, here's option 1, 2, 3. And then in the game, if somebody's in option 1, then option 2. If somebody's in option 2, it's option 3. So that's where the players have to be free to express themselves and free to ultimately show what they're about. And the good thing is that he's getting himself in better positions, I think, higher up the field and being able to add to that. And I mean, he even the last game, he could have scored again on the counter. I mean, he's been good. He's just one of them that has obviously produced more. But it is not me. It's them that are getting in the right spaces and they're attacking at the right times in the right areas.
And going back to my statement earlier about the open style of play, Brad Guzan made 6 saves in the contest to earn the victory. His biggest save probably came in the 86th minute when he had to stop a really strong shot from second half substitute Felipe. He made a nice shot. Guzan had to dive to his right to stop that shot in an attempt to preserve the 2-1 lead. And there were several point blank range shots that Guzan stopped in the contest as well. Because DC United really dominated offensively. Outside of possession, which Atlanta held a slight advantage over as far as percentage goes, DC United outshot Atlanta 27-13, 7 shots on target compared to only 4 for Atlanta. Even corner kicks. DC United had 8 corner kicks as opposed to only 3 from Atlanta. So DC United was very active on the offensive end, as I mentioned, because of the open style of play, and it required Guzan to make a lot of crucial saves. But here he is after the contest on facing the large amount of shots.
I don't know. I mean, listen, you can say 27 shots. I'm sure not 27 were on target. So in my mind, you're not really facing 27 shots. But from a goalkeeper standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, I think we look at the dangerous opportunities that are either coming that are leading to those shots or what types of shots are they getting, and sometimes you need to take away, option A and B and give them option C, and option C might be a shot from distance. I remember the save down to my right after they scored. I think Anton was saying in that moment he couldn't really step because he was with the guy, and if he steps and he gets slipped in, all of a sudden it's a one-on-one as opposed to a shot from 25 yards out. So, in that instance, in those moments, you're taking away dangerous option 1 and 2, and you're leaving them with option 3. And my job is to try and make a save. And fortunately, I was able to do that, minus the wide free kick.
Yeah, and it's unusual for him to face that much pressure. As I said, with Atlanta facing that amount of pressure, with Atlanta usually leading in possession percentage. But just the way the match was going, the counterattack was working strong for DC United. But ultimately, Atlanta was able to come out with the victory. And as I mentioned, Atlanta now has won 4 matches in a row and are unbeaten in their last 5 matches. They now sit tied for 7th in the Eastern Conference standings with DC United for that final playoff spot. Before the winning streak, they were as low as 13th, I believe, in the standings, next to last place in the bottom half of the conference standings. But now they're tied for 7th. They're not ahead of DC United, even though they won that contest a few nights ago because of goal differential, which can change over time. So Atlanta is one of the hottest teams in Major League Soccer. And here is Brad Guzan on the reason for the season turnaround.
It wasn't one thing. It wasn't just like, a magic switch. I think he gave a lot of confidence to the group. I think he gave a lot of belief to guys to go and, I don't want to say play freely, but play freely within the team and how we wanted to play as a group. And so you started to see guys express themselves. You started seeing guys show their ability individually. And show their quality and what they can bring to the team. And when you have that quality within the group and you have an idea of what you're trying to do as 11 guys on the field, and then that little bit of quality is able to shine through, more times than not, good things are going to happen.
And now they enter another interesting phase of the season. Rob Valentino is not the interim manager anymore. He is staying with the team as an assistant. And the new permanent manager of the team, Gonzalo Pineda, officially takes over. We're recording this on August 24th. His first press conference is today. So now he is entrenched with the team and he is the head man for the squad. Their next match is actually on August 28th. They're going to host Nashville, even though we're in the middle of the All-Star break, which does take place by the time you listen to this show. George Bello and Miles Robinson will be representing Team LX against Team MX. We'll have a recap of that on a future original free kick. But this is an interesting time now for Atlanta because Pineda is in there. He's training the players, and he is now the permanent man for the job. So we'll see if Atlanta can continue that momentum that they've held over the past few weeks in this winning streak and unbeaten streak as they progress through the MLS season. And that concludes the original free kick. You can always go to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the Sports Inquirer. Do a search for us and follow everything that we're doing. Go to the mothership, thesportsinquirer.net, and you'll be able to check everything out there. Subscribe to us on our audio and video content providers such as YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. Do a search for the Sports Inquirer, and you'll be able to find us. Until next time, good fight, good night, be safe.